Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today, we're digging into something pretty fundamental. Communities.
Yeah, the groups we're all part of, whether we choose them or, just find ourselves in them.
Exactly. And we want to understand how these networks really shape your identity, what you see as possible, how you view the world.
It's a big one.
It really is.
Mm-hmm.
So let's start with a question to chew on for a second. Think about it. A crowd at a bus stop is just, well, a crowd.
Right.
But what turns a bunch of people into a real community? What's that extra something, that glue?
That sense of connection, maybe.
Reciprocal influence.
Yeah, that reciprocal influence. That's the core, isn't it? What makes it more than just being in the same place? We want you to pause and think about that before we dive in.
Definitely. And our mission today really is to use the insights we've gathered to help you define community in your own terms and explore how all these different types of communities, local, global, online, how they connect, and importantly, how they change.
Okay, let's unpack this.
So where do we start? The basic definition. Yeah, let's lay the groundwork. The core idea we found is pretty clear. A community is basically a network of people.
A network, okay.
And they share something specific. It can be a common place, like a neighborhood.
Or a common purpose, like a team working on a project.
Right, or even just a common interest, like fans of the same band or gamers playing together online.
Place, purpose, or interest. Simple enough. But you said the key word there was network.
Exactly. It's not just about being near each other or liking the same thing.
It's about the connections, the relationships, right?
Yeah.
Maybe a shared culture or even shared responsibilities.
That's it. The sources really stress this. Community members influence one another's lives actively.
So it's that interaction, that mutual impact.
Yeah.
That's the line between just a group and a community. It has to have that active relationship.
And that influence plays out on so many different levels. We saw some great examples.
Right.
Well, think about your school community. That's often about shared learning goals, daily interaction, being physically together.
Makes sense. Very direct influence there.
Then you jump to something totally different, like an online gaming community.
Right, where the shared interest is everything and location doesn't matter at all. The influence is purely based on the game, the interaction within it.
Totally different scale. And then there's the idea of the global community.
Which sounds huge, almost abstract.
It is, but the influence is real, centering on these big shared responsibilities. Think climate change, human rights.
Things that affect everyone, regardless of where they live. So the shared thing, place, purpose, interest, it scales massively.
Yeah, from your classroom right up to the whole planet. Which brings up a really interesting point.
What's that?
If communities can be based on place or purpose or interest, what happens when those overlap? Can you belong to several at once?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that's just modern life, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess so.
Think about it. You live in a town that's place, you play on a soccer team that's purpose, and you're active on a fan forum online that's interest. 3 different communities all shaping you at the same time.
So you're constantly juggling these different influences.
Exactly. They mix, they sometimes challenge each other, and hopefully they enrich who you are.
Okay, that makes sense. Which leads us right into the next question. Why? Why bother with all this complexity? Why do we actually need communities?
Well, on a basic level, they're kind of essential for, survival and growth.
Survival. How so?
They help us figure out who we are, our identity, that sense of belonging. It's fundamental.
Right, the psychological need.
Definitely. But there are practical reasons, too. Communities are how we share resources, knowledge, support each other when things get tough.
Like pooling resources or helping a neighbor.
Exactly. And maybe most importantly, they're how we achieve things together that we could never do alone. Progress, change, collective action.
That sounds like the ideal scenario, The supportive network, everyone helping each other grow.
It is the ideal, but we need to think critically here.
Oh, okay. The flip side.
Yeah. Can communities sometimes hold people back, stifle growth instead of fostering it?
Good question. How'd that happen?
Well, imagine a community with really rigid rules or one that's very exclusionary.
Okay.
If it demands absolute conformity or discourages new ideas or isolates its members from the outside world, that shared identity could become a trap.
Right. Instead of a launch pad, it's more like a cage. That's a powerful thought.
And understanding that tension support versus restriction is really important when we think about where communities exist today.
Because technology has just completely changed the game, hasn't it?
Fundamentally,
Yeah.
it's changed where we find our tribes, so to speak.
Traditionally, we thought mostly about physical communities, right?
Your town, your school, your workplace, places you could, physically go to.
But now,
Now virtual communities are huge. Social media groups, online classes, those gaming guilds we mentioned.
defined by clicks and code, not streets and buildings.
Precisely. And then there's a third category, which is maybe less tangible but just as powerful. Cultural communities. These aren't necessarily tied to one physical place or a specific website.
So, like, shared language, traditions, values.
Exactly. Deeply rooted things. You could move halfway across the world, but that cultural community, that shared background, still influences you profoundly.
Wow. So physical, virtual, and cultural. Lots of different spaces.
What's fascinating here is how technology turbocharges everything.
How do you mean?
Well, think about building connections. It used to take a lot of time, shared experiences face to face, to build trust and links between different groups.
Right. Building bridges took effort.
Now, you can find people who share your super specific, maybe obscure interest instantly anywhere in the world.
Yeah, that's true. You can find your niche community in seconds.
It totally changes how quickly communities can form and how easily people can move between them. It's much more fluid.
That speed and fluidity. It makes me think of this case study we looked at, Zahra.
Ah, yes, Zahra. Good example.
Well, she lives in St. John's, Newfoundland. But that's just one part of her story.
Right. She's got her school life, obviously.
Yeah, goes to school there. But she's also really serious about her soccer club. Trains hard, travels for games.
So an interest-based community with a strong purpose element.
Definitely. Plus, she volunteers at the local library, another local connection. And on top of all that, she's part of an online study group, connecting daily with students from other places, all prepping for university.
Wow. So she's really living that overlap we talked about.
Totally. She's juggling multiple community affiliations all the time.
You've got her local community, family, school, the town itself. That's deeply rooted. Then the interest-based community, the soccer team with all its discipline and teamwork.
Right.
And then this expanding digital community, online friends, fellow learners, maybe bringing in global perspectives.
It's a lot to navigate.
Huh.
Which brings us to a really interesting discussion point for you listening right now.
Okay, what should they consider?
Look at Zahra's life. Which of her communities, local, soccer, online, do you think has the strongest influence on her identity right now?
Ooh, good one. Not just which one she spends time in, but which one shapes her most.
Exactly. Think about the daily demands, the emotional investment, the skills she's learning. Is it her school structure, the intensity of the team, or the broader view from online?
You have to pick one and, more importantly, explain why. Justify your choice.
Yeah, thinking about the why is key. And this isn't just about Zahra, obviously. It's about seeing these forces in your own life.
Making it personal.
Right. So take a second now. Mentally list, say, 3 communities you're actively part of. Could be anything: family, a club, online group, your neighborhood.
Got mine.
Okay. Now, for each of those 3, think about 2 things. First, how do you contribute? What's your role? Are you leading, just participating, helping out?
How you give back to it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And second, how does that community affect you? Your values, maybe? Your goals for the future?
How it shapes you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Answering those really shows how much power you give these networks in your life.
That self-reflection is so important. And it ties nicely into our final section, what actually makes a community strong.
Right. It's one thing to belong, but what makes a community effective, resilient, lasting?
We looked for the common threads, the essential characteristics, and we found 4 main ones that kept coming up.
Okay, what are they?
First, respect and inclusion. This isn't just about being nice. It means genuinely valuing different perspectives.
Why is that so important?
Because it stops the group from becoming an echo chamber. It prevents stagnation, keeps things fresh.
Makes sense. What's number 2?
Cooperation and trust. Seems obvious, maybe, but without that basic willingness to rely on each other,
Things fall apart.
pretty much, people won't share ideas or resources or take risks together if there's no trust. The whole network becomes inefficient.
Okay. Respect and inclusion, cooperation, and trust.
Yeah.
What else?
Third, and this is a big one, shared leadership and fairness.
Meaning not just one person doing everything.
Exactly. If the burden of making decisions or doing the work falls on just a few people, you get burnout.
And resentment, probably.
For sure. And you hit that free rider problem where some benefit without contributing. That can kill a community fast. So distributing leadership and ensuring things feel fair is vital.
Got it. And the last one?
Number 4 is clear communication and purpose. People need to know why they're part of the group. What's the shared goal?
And how to talk things through.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
How do we handle disagreements constructively? If the purpose isn't clear or communication breaks down, the whole thing fractures.
So those four, respect, inclusion, cooperation, trust, shared leadership, fairness, clear communication purpose, are like the building blocks.
They really are the foundation for a thriving community.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting. Let's test those building blocks with a bit of a debate question.
Oh, I like debates.
All right, for a community to really work well, be functional day to day, what's more important? Having strong, clear rules or having strong, positive relationships?
Ooh, rules versus relationships. That's a classic tension.
Right. Think about defending your answer. Rules give you structure, predictability. Everyone knows what's expected.
But they can be rigid, inflexible. What happens when a situation comes up that the rules didn't anticipate?
Exactly. That's where relationships come in. Trust, empathy, understanding that allows for flexibility, adaptation. It helps when the rules need bending or even breaking for the common good.
So you need both, obviously, but which one is more fundamental? Which one do you build the community on? It's a tough call.
It really is. A great point to mull over.
And that tension really sums up a lot of what we've discussed. So to wrap up this deep dive,
Yeah, let's recap.
you've learned that defining community isn't just about geography. It's about digging into that shared purpose or interest, that network of influence.
Right. And we see the difference between local, global, and those ever-growing digital communities.
And you now have a kind of checklist, those four characteristics to analyze what makes a community strong or potentially what could weaken it.
So what does this all mean for you listening?
Well, it means you're not just floating out there alone.
Definitely not.
You're part of this amazing, complex web, a network of influences, shared goals, support systems, whether you always notice it or not.
And just recognizing your place in those different groups, understanding how they affect you and how you affect them.
Yeah.
That's a huge first step.
It really is. And maybe one final thought to leave you with, something provocative to consider until next time.
Okay, hit us with it.
We talked about making communities better. Often we think that means fixing problems like poor communication or unfairness, right?
Yeah.
Tackling the weaknesses.
Yeah, that seems logical.
But does improving a community always mean fixing a challenge? Or could it sometimes mean doubling down on what's already working?
Like focusing on strengthening the strength.
Exactly. Maybe the best way to improve is to pour energy into reinforcing those great relationships, celebrating the cooperation that's already happening, amplifying the good stuff instead of only patching the holes.
Fixing versus sustaining, or maybe amplifying. That's a really interesting distinction, something to definitely think about.
Food for thought.
Absolutely. And that idea of strengthening what works leads perfectly into our next deep dive. We'll be shifting focus a bit.
Oh, yeah. To what?
From the structure of communities to the people inside them, we'll explore roles, different leadership styles, how decisions actually get made.
And how all that shapes whether a community succeeds or, well, doesn't.
Exactly.
Yep.
It should be fascinating. So thanks for joining us on this deep dive into communities.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in.
We'll talk to you soon.